Welcome back for another movie review. I'm Brandon, and back as my co-host is Ben Metcalf from 3 Minute Horror Reviews. So subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. He's got a lot of funny stuff on there. And today we're going to be reviewing Hostel. We're going to be doing the entire series, parts 1 through 3, over the next week or so. But today we're starting with the original. Came out in 2005, and it really. Saw came out the year before, 2 years before, but I think this is kind of where the term torture porn came from. This one really kind of solidified that whole thing, and it was really Saw and Hostel were like the two big ones.
Yeah.
And I think I hate the term torture porn because I think it's unfair. I don't think it's a good description of this type of movie, and I think it just kind of dismisses it that it's some kind of unworthy piece of art kind of thing. Where I think like Hostel, I love it. And I guess we'll find out soon what you think of it, but I think it's a damn good movie, and I think that it doesn't deserve just to be categorized as some sort of lesser thing. But I guess let's get into it. What did you think of it?
Well, I'll tell you, as a someone who would considered themselves a horror purist leading into the arrival of Saw, the arrival on the whole scene of Saw, okay? Um, I did I enjoyed Saw. We're not talking about Saw, but I enjoyed Saw. I thought Saw was quite good, but then I saw this rash of movies that came in to fill that void that Saw left behind, that market void, and this was one of them. Turistas Must Die was one of them. There were a bunch of them that came in to try and fill that gap. And as a horror purist, and we've talked before in these things where looking back at myself, I was a bit of an edgelord, and I thought I was too good for things like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, for example. I thought I was probably too good for this one, so I did not give Hostel or any of its sequels a chance until 2025.
Holy
I
cow!
saw I saw
You're
Hostel
late to the
1 and
game.
2 for the very first time in 2025, and Hostel 3 I saw like a week ago. And yeah, I never gave it a chance. I considered it to be exactly the derivative term torture porn, that it was just people strapped into a chair or onto a table and being tortured, like the guinea pig movies, like the Japanese guinea pig series, like that sort of thing.
Yeah,
And I wasn't interested in that. I don't like those kind of movies. I don't like when there's no character development, there are no character stakes. You're just watching somebody be dismembered slowly, and there's no emotional resonance to it because it's just like a case study in grossness.
it's like the detractors from it. It's kind of like they think that the parts of something that I don't like
Yeah,
are the only parts of it, and it's the only reason that people watch it. Like
yeah,
there could be nothing more to it. It's like the people, professional wrestling. Oh, it's nothing but violence. There's nothing to it. It's like, well, if you're into it, you're into the characters and the storylines and
yeah,
everything. You're not just into the part that the person who hates it hates. It's
right.
kind of ridiculous. It's like, how could you be like, oh, Hostel is nothing but torture scenes? No, honestly, all the torture scenes combined is probably like 4 minutes at max. Like there's
Yeah,
very, very little of it. It's everything around it that is could be very disturbing if you're a person that's easily disturbed.
yeah,
But I don't see how they could. There's way more torture in Saw. Like Saw was basically just a series of torture scenes, but with other stuff in there and twists and everything. And even that I wouldn't consider torture porn. But I know what you mean. Like I don't want to watch
yeah,
like the Japanese like hardcore stuff. I just don't doesn't interest me. I want a story to it. And
yeah,
Hostel has a good story, and it just pissed me off that the kind of people that hate it, even other horror fans, like I could see like hardcore Christian people that don't watch anything over PG. Okay, whatever. Who cares what they think? But other horror people that think like there's no value to this story wise, and it's like
yeah.
there's a lot to it. And if you watch Eli Roth's commentary on the movies, like he really gets into things and you realize just the layers and the depths in there that you didn't even realize before. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think the movie didn't get a fair chance a lot of the time.
No, and I agree with you completely. I know I didn't give it a fair chance, but I'm glad that I did in the end, and we'll get into that as we go. I am disappointed in myself for being hostile to hostile. That was going to be my joke where I talk about being hostile to hostile. Then see what I did there? Yes. Comedy, folks.
Brilliant.
Comedy.
I was waiting for you to do that joke.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing, the way I like how it's set up, it's
Yeah.
like people. I'm sure people have seen it before, but there's a group of guys. One's I think two are American and one's from Iceland,
Yeah.
and they're just touring. they're backpacking around Europe and they get lured to Eastern Europe on the pretense of, hey, there's all these young hot women out there. So they get lured out there and basically they get swept up in this company that
Yeah.
basically rich people can pay to murder innocent people. So they get lured there. And it starts off, these guys are like, they're just, they're young college guys. They're
Yeah.
total dickheads. Like
Yeah. And let's lay
they're
it
just
out. Let's lay
annoying.
it out here, though. These guys are sex tourists. They're going to tour Europe to have sex.
Yeah, that's basically what they're doing, and smoke weed, and
Yeah.
just generally be bad tourists.
Yeah.
But it does give you the ugly American thing, right?
Yeah.
Which is not entirely true. One of the guys is not even American, but they're basically just there to just destruction and just basically take advantage of the people there and think they're better than everyone, and you kind of start to really kind of hate them.
Yeah.
But I find as the movie goes on, obviously, even just being a loudmouth jerk doesn't mean you deserve to be tortured to death, obviously.
Right.
But as the movie goes, I kind of, especially with Paxton, I kind of found myself taking their side. At
Yeah.
first, I was like, man, these guys suck. And then it's like, I don't know, they're actually okay. And then once all of a sudden one of their friends starts going missing, and it's like, I kind of starting to like these guys. And then by the end, I'm like on their side, and you're kind of cheering for them. So I kind of
Yeah.
like how it changes like that.
This is an interesting series too, because a lot of the people that the cast that comprise the cast of all three movies are television actors primarily, not movie actors. So Paxton is played by TV's Magnum PI. I think that show's still on. Is he still being Magnum PI? I think so.
I don't know. I'm not a big TV guy. I didn't even know that
Yeah.
until you just told me.
Yeah, he's Magnum PI. There is a cameo. We'll get to him, but there's a cameo from the guy in Suits as well, the rat-faced guy. We'll talk about him when we
Cool.
get a little bit further into the story. But even number two and number three were mainly comprised of television actors, which I found interesting, and it gave for people who are usually used to watching horror films, mm, it probably was good to have fresh faces, people who you don't necessarily recognize from other things. And it also made the gravitas of the cameos that they had in the movie a little bit stronger too. Because there are some pretty high caliber cameos in at least the first two. I don't think the third had any.
Yeah, I think I mean the first one they had Takasha Miike, the Japanese
Yeah.
horror director, that Eli Roth was a huge fan of, and a
Yeah.
lot of the actors, a lot of them were pretty famous, but they were famous in Europe. So unless
Oh,
you're
yeah.
big into Austrian movies or German, like you just would never have heard of them. But they're actually like very accomplished, pretty famous actors.
Oh, well,
Um, I
that's my
also
bad.
but no, but you're right. Like
Yeah.
I didn't recognize a single, even the American actors. I didn't even
Yeah.
recognize a single actor in the entire movie. I don't think, even part two. They were all new to me, which I'm glad because if it had been like all the famous horror staple people, it
Yeah.
wouldn't have had the same impact. Which is fine for some movies, but for this one, you kind of want to pretend it's real kind of thing, and I like the
Yeah.
fact that there was recognizable faces in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And plus, there was also a short cameo from Quentin Tarantino. He was a drunk guy
Was
getting
there?
thrown out of the bar. Yeah.
Oh, weird. I don't know. I've seen the movie like 20 times. Don't
Yeah.
even remember
And
that.
Eli Roth was in it too for a moment. So
I remember seeing him. Yeah, he was in the marijuana bar or whatever you call those
he's
places.
pretty recognizable too with those eyebrows. So
And you can see his severed head later as well.
yeah,
Or is that part two?
that's in number two. So as you said, these guys are going on their sex tourist thing. They've got an Icelandic guy that they picked up along the way, who I guess is a very famous Icelandic actor too, this guy. So they picked him up. They're being wild. They get thrown out of a bar for being jerks, and some guy sees them on the street and tells them to, "Hey, come up and party with me in my little party pad up here." They go up. This guy's from Czechoslovakia. No, he's Slovakian. That's a different country apparently. So he's Slovakian, and he convinces the guys that they need to go to Bratislava to continue the party. And so these guys do, and going to Bratislava, going from Prague, which is where I believe they were, to Bratislava is like, I mean, it's like it's going from Detroit into Flint, Michigan. Okay,
Mhm.
if that makes sense to people who are listening. It's an industrial area. It looks gross. Like, I mean, I mean, it's probably not gross, but it's not high fashion. It's not very touristy or anything like that. They go to Bratislava, and one of the guys gets felt up by a weird doctor on the train, and they go nuts. These guys go nuts. When they arrive, they check in to the titular hostel. If you're a person who's watching this episode and you've been in a hostel, stayed in a hostel in Europe, please let us know if this is true because the hostels in all three movies seem to double book people. These guys will arrive in their room and it'll be like, "Oh, there's naked ladies already in our room. What's going on here? Oh, we're all booked together. Oh, let's just stay all together." Is that something that actually happens in hostels? Because that seems pretty
Yeah, I'm
weird.
not sure because I heard like some hostels, it's not really like a hotel. It's
Yeah,
basically like here's a big room and you're gonna have like 15 other people sleeping in bunk beds in this room. So yeah, you're just gonna have to deal with other people. The only time I stayed in a hostel, I was probably 12. We went on a school trip to Quebec and we stayed in a hostel. So we were in this room. I think there was like 6 or 8 like boys, all from the same class,
yeah,
in that room. So I don't know how it would work with strangers, but that seems like a very uncomfortable way. You don't even control who's in the room, right? You're just like changing, sleeping, and there's just
yeah,
other weird people that you don't know coming and going. It seems like a very, very bad way to live, but it works for the premise of this movie. And of course,
yeah,
this hostel operates. Its sole purpose is once you check in and you show your passport,
yeah,
they'll scan it, and then basically you're put up. You find out in the next movie exactly how it operates, but
yeah,
you're put up for auction where people that are involved in this club can bid on you to kill
yeah,
you, and if someone wins the bid, you are either kidnapped or somehow lured to this factory where you're locked in a room and someone gets to torture you to death. Of course,
yeah,
they don't know that, and they also don't. The guys don't realize that these girls, these cute girls that are in their hostel room with them,
yeah.
are actually working for this company, and their sole purpose is just to lure them to this factory.
Yeah, it seems to be if you are a woman traveler, a woman tourist, they're going to lure you in with men in your room, and if you're a male tourist, they're going to lure you in with ladies in your room because there are other
Well,
people who get lured in too.
it seems like we'll get into the second one, but their
Yeah,
way of luring is different. Like with the
yeah, yeah,
guys, it's like, hey, come see these hot girls.
yeah,
With the women, it's more like, man, there's a lot of creepy guys around here that are creeping on you. Come with us to get away from the guys.
yeah.
So it's not like they're luring, because I mean, really, like if you're a hot girl, you could find guys anywhere, right? You don't need to travel to Eastern Europe just to
Oh,
find
boy.
them, right? So we'll get into that more in the second one.
Yeah,
But things kind of start to go awry when all of a sudden one of the friends, like Ollie, the Icelandic guy, just
yeah,
disappears one day,
hmm,
and he sends them like a very cryptic message, like "I go home," and
yeah,
it's like, what? So they're like, why would he just leave without telling us? And so they're trying to find him, and they're all freaked out, and then all of a sudden, Paxton's best friend goes missing,
yeah,
and the people at the hostel are like, "Oh yeah, he checked out this morning," and he's like, "My friend wouldn't just check out without telling me, especially after the other guy already did that."
yeah,
So he knows something's wrong,
yeah,
and he knows that the two pretty women that were in his hostel room, he knows they had something to do with it. So
yeah,
he basically tracks them down and is like, "Take me to my friend," and they're like, "Okay." So they bring him to this warehouse,
yeah.
and there's guards around, and he sees Takashi Miike, the famous Japanese director,
Yeah.
walking out, and he's like, asks him like, "Hey, like what goes on in there?" And then the Japanese guy says, "Be careful, you could spend all your money in there." I think they lied and told him it was some sort of like art exhibit or whatever, but he
Something
knows
like
like
that. Yeah,
something's up.
yeah.
So they lure him in, and as soon as he's in, he sees people being tortured, realizes what's up,
Yeah.
and finds himself kidnapped and tied up to a chair himself.
And this group is called the Elite Hunting Club, which is a huge misnomer because these guys are not hunters. Someone else is doing the hunting for them. They're just killers. It should be called the Elite Killers Club because they're not hunting anyone. They're the worst hunters on the planet. They're
Well,
just
I guess
walking into a
when
room.
you're I guess when you're filing your corporate taxes, it might draw attention if you call yourself the Elite Killing Club. So if you say hunting club, it
I don't know. The guys who are probably in the IRS are probably in the club too. I don't know. So yes, there's also a Japanese girl in the hostel who's looking for her missing friend, and she goes missing as well. So everybody's going missing in this place. I'm surprised there's no international events or there's no international incidents going on with all the people who are going missing from all different places in the world in this particular place. Because you got to figure, you know, well, I don't know how the law works in Bratislava, so who knows, right?
Well, I think it's well, we'll get into it more in part
Yeah,
two. I have some thoughts on that, but I think it's basically like the we'll find out like the Sasha, the guy that owns the company that
yeah,
runs it. They're kind of they're powerful, so they probably maybe not all the police are in on it, but they've kind
yeah,
of paid people off. They've somehow worked it out that this could be
right.
swept under the rug. But it's also what kind of makes the movie scary too. Like, yeah, there is like some pretty disturbing, violent torture
Yeah,
scenes, but it's also like when the guys are just all together and they're partying, getting drunk. It's like everything seems safe,
yeah,
but all of a sudden, when it's like, oh shit, you're alone, and you realize like this is not even Western Europe, let alone America.
yeah,
Like you're in a weird place, and it's like the people they were good at casting people, but even the
yeah.
people in Eastern Europe, like they look slightly different.
Uh-huh.
Like they're just they have different facial features, and the buildings are different, the roads are different, the
Yeah,
cars are different. So all of a sudden, Paxton is like, oh shit, and he
yeah,
even goes to the police to report his friend missing, and the cop he's talking to kind of chuckles, and he's like, wow, like you're really far from home.
yeah,
Like, oh shit, like how the hell, like we got lured to this place, and this isn't like Rome or Paris where it's like a tourist place that's relatively safe. Like all of a sudden
yeah,
you're in the backwoods of these hardcore um, Eastern Europe places. I've never been to them, so I
no,
imagine they're like
yeah,
fine places. This movie obviously exaggerated it, but it just it leaves you with this feeling that yeah, you were
yeah.
lured to this place, and all of a sudden now you're alone, and everyone is in on it, is in to
Yeah.
capture.
Everyone, like including, we didn't even mention them yet, but the Slavic street children that are running around, right? If you
Yeah,
don't give them bubble gum, they will straight up murder you.
yeah,
These are little kids that will just murder you with concrete blocks if you
yeah.
don't
And
give
of
them
course,
what they
when you see
want.
them, they're kind of oh, there's these cute little kids, and
Yeah,
they just want some bubble gum, and there's like an implied threat, like that they're gonna like hurt you, and it's like give them a piece of gum or give them $1.
yeah,
But it's like yeah, they're willing to take it pretty far if they have to.
yeah.
What did you think of the like the torture scenes in this movie?
I thought they were pretty well done. Like Eli Roth is known for this kind of thing, right? For his special effects scenes. And I don't know who he was working with on this one, but Scott Spiegel was involved as well. I would imagine that it's I didn't look up who did the effects in this one. I would imagine it's oh, what's his name? The guy who does the effects for Fallout. He worked with oh, it's gone from my brain. He was in he did a guest spot in From Dusk Till Dawn alongside
Like
Tom
Tom
or
Savini?
sorry?
Not
Oh,
Tom Savini.
Tom Savini's student, like one of the guys that worked with Tom
Oh,
Savini when he was younger.
yeah.
Greg
His name.
Nicotero. I would imagine it
Oh,
was like Greg Nicotero. That's the name. I remembered it. Don't get mad at me. All right.
okay.
Um, but yeah, it was really well done. I thought it was really good. Brutal, just brutal stuff. And I gotta tell you, at one point in time, the Japanese girl, her eye is hanging out of her face because she's been like all torched up and all that sort of like was it a blowtorch that she took to the face? Yeah, it was a blowtorch,
Yeah,
right? I don't remember at this point in time, but she had her eyeball was hanging out and Paxton's trying to save her and it's causing her so much pain that he ends up just like snipping it off and oh my God, it's gnarly as hell. Gnarly
yeah.
stuff. I think you
I
can
had to
see
turn away at
Brandon's
that
face.
part.
Yeah. Brandon's almost throwing up over here, guys. It's that nasty. It's gnarly stuff. Whoa.
Yeah, there's some that and the Achilles tendon being
Oh,
spliced. Like there's he really knows how to make it disturbing, and I think like
yeah.
people that see that or even hear about it, they're so horrified that that's all they could think about in this movie. But it's like
Yeah.
yeah, all together, it's only like a couple minutes worth of even those scenes are quite
Yeah.
short. So it's not the main part of the movie, but it's like yeah, when this gets to it, it's
Yeah.
pretty horrifying.
The guy who gets his Achilles tendon cut is the friend who got felt up by the doctor on the train, or a businessman. He was a doctor or a businessman or something like that. But he is the guy who just so happens to be the guy who bought killing this poor kid. So so he tried to get with him on the train, and then he killed the guy. pretty gnarly, pretty brutally. What else did he do to him? I didn't write it down,
I
but
imagine I don't think he's a doctor because
yeah.
when Paxton sees him, like he
Hmm.
has his body like open. He's kind of like tinkering around, looking inside.
Yeah,
Where you figure like a doctor would already know what the inside of a body looks like. He would be
right.
interested in it. So I think this is probably a some sort of business guy who's just never seen the inside of a corpse and
That
wanted to do that.
I don't remember. Did they have it make a sound when he snapped the Achilles tendon?
Can't remember. I'm sure there was
Yeah.
some kind of sound, but also the
Yeah.
guy was like screaming too. So
Yeah. I've been on a when I played football when I was younger, folks. When I played football when I was younger, a guy on my team snapped his Achilles tendon in a game, and you could hear it. Like you could hear it from down
ah
the field. And it wasn't through any, like it was just through exertion, I guess, but it sounded almost like a gunshot. Like it sounded like that. It was really gnarly. Yeah.
gross.
Yeah. Yeah, so that happened, and like we alluded to, Paxton manages to get free. He manages to kill a bunch of his captors, and then he frees Kana, I believe her name is. It's either Kana or Hana, the Japanese girl, who is, hideously disfigured at this point in time. So I don't know what's going to happen to her. But as they finally they get out of the place. They arrive at the train station to make their big escape back to Prague, I guess. Um, and really, if you're watching the movie and you're paying close attention, at this point in time, it's one of those feelings like you've just got it's got a grip on your stomach because they're they're so close to getting away at this point in time. Kana or Hana sees that she sees a mirror reflection of herself, sees what she looks like, and jumps in front of a train. So you think that all the gnarly stuff's done, and then, bam, this girl is exploded into red mist everywhere. Really gross.
Yeah, I guess she just rather die than go on living disfigured. So
Yeah, and never be able to see it again. Now, did you see the director's cut version, or did you see the theatrical?
I'm actually not sure.
Okay,
Uh,
well, they have two different endings. So the version that I saw was the director's cut, and in the version that I saw in that director's cut, Paxton at the train station runs into the businessman again. Okay, the businessman that killed his friend, that paid to murder his friend, and he's traveling with his young daughter. And the last thing that you see is the businessman desperately searching for his daughter, and then Paxton is riding away on the train with the little girl in tow. So he's kidnapped her. That's the director's cut. In the theatrical version, Paxton kills the guy in the bathroom.
okay, so I saw the theatrical version. Yeah,
Okay.
I like that. I like that one better.
Yeah.
Of just him getting revenge on the doctor that killed
Yeah.
his friend. It's kind of weird because there's no like real main villain in this movie.
Hmm.
Like the two girls that lured the guys to the factory, they're kind of villains.
Yeah.
The businessman guy, he's kind of the villain. There's also like other little villains, like the guys that are killing and torturing the people. But
Yeah.
there's no like one major villain, so it was kind of interesting in that
Yeah.
respect.
And a bunch of them get killed too. Like a bunch of the smaller villains get killed, like the Doctor in the theatrical version. The rat-faced guy from Suits, I don't remember the actor's name. He's the American killer, the American customer client, I guess.
Oh, that guy,
Yeah,
yeah.
that guy.
We have me and my friend. We always call him that guy because we see him in the movies and we know what it is. It's like, oh, it's that guy. So we started calling, yeah, let's call him that guy.
All the people at work at my work just call him Rick from Suits. I think his name is
Okay,
Rick.
yeah, his name. I looked it up yesterday. It's Rick something. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
like when Paxton is escaping, he gets
yeah,
hold of a gun and he's going around. He kind of blasts his way out,
yeah,
then steals a car and leaves with the girl, and then she gets hit by a train. And but I think what the most satisfying part of the movie is when Paxton he's driving through the streets trying to get away, and there's like a truck blocking his path, and as
yeah,
the truck pulls out of the way, he sees the two women that lured him
yeah,
talking to the guy that they met back at the hotel in Prague who told him to go there. So it
yeah,
turns out they know each other and they've been
yeah,
colluding. And they turn and look and see him.
yeah.
And he's just like, they make eye contact and he just stomps on the gas and just runs them down. And not only that, but then he throws it in reverse and like backs up and crushes one of the girls' heads.
That
And he
part was
like
good.
Roth said in the theater, like everyone just cheered. And
Yeah.
even then I was just like, yes, they just finally got what's coming to them.
Like you said, the theatrical version I think makes more sense because We will talk in the next episode. We'll be talking about number two, and Paxton does not have a little girl. So if it's implied that he murdered this girl, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
just it makes it all of a sudden it's like, yeah, he was the hero. Now all of a sudden it's like, well, now you're just a bad guy too. And
yeah,
um,
exactly.
yeah, I'm glad that they didn't go with that. I thought I saw an alternate ending that was not the little girl one, but it was just some other thing that was not as
Hmm.
violent. Um, it might have been on like the special features or something, but I do
So
like how this one ended. It's like you
yeah,
see Paxton get revenge, and of course he has a bunch of the goons, like
yeah,
the guards following him. So those bubblegum kids, a little street gang of like 8 and 10 year olds that we
yeah,
saw earlier, he gives them money or candy or something, and it's like, fuck up these guys. So of course these big tough guys, they're not
yeah,
scared of these little kids until the little kids all of a sudden when there's 20 of them
yeah,
and they just start beating on you with bats and they're like throwing rocks and cinder blocks on them
yeah.
and basically end up killing them. And it's like, wow, did not expect that.
So I had three morals for this story. The morals for Hostel 1 is number one, don't be a gross sex tourism guy. That's moral number one. Moral number two is do not accept drugs from strange European people. And number
Mm-hmm.
three is always carry gum in your pocket for Slovakian street children.
You do that,
There
you might
you
just survive.
go.
So what would you give this movie overall?
So I rate Hostel from 2005 a 7 out of 10. I liked it.
Yeah, I'd probably go 7.5. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember I did when it came out. Everyone was kind of raving about it, and I was like, "Yeah, it doesn't interest me." And
Yeah.
it took a couple of years before I think a friend was watching it on DVD or something, and
Mhm.
I watched it and I was like, "Wow, this is actually super cool." And so I watched it a couple more times, and I watched it with Eli Roth's commentary,
Yeah.
and it just kind of made me appreciate it even more. And yeah, so we'll get into the second one
Yeah.
in our next review,
The
and
next
we'll see what we
episode.
think of that. But this was a very good movie, and
Yeah.
it rises above just the throwaway torture porn term.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad I gave it a chance in the end. I said in my review that I was stupid for not having given it a chance before 2025, certainly. But yeah, I did enjoy this one in the end.
All right, well, thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks, Ben, for being on the show, and we'll see you next time.